Welcome to Shrimperscast with me, Steve Mansfield.
And me, Paul Hill. On today's show,
Battling Blues share spoils with Daggers and send sorry Dorking back to Surrey, wondering where it all went wrong.
a win at last after 3 straight draws puts Southend's playoff push back on the cards.
Paul sits down with Leon Constantine to talk through his storied career.
And we preview Hartlepool United away this weekend.
Welcome to Shrimperscast. I'm sat here with Mr. Paul Hill. Paul, how are you doing, mate?
Evening, Squire. I'm very well, thank you all. Very well. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I've had a very busy day, busy week so far, but it's all good. I'm not complaining.
Nice.
You've had a very busy day as well from what you were telling me before we came on.
Yeah, started at 4 a.m. with a crying kid. Well, put into bed, we stuck her in our bed, just said, come on, darling, it'll be all right. She fell back to sleep and then decided to start doing gymnastics in her sleep. So that was a lovely little thing. She's a funny little thing, is our youngest. I was getting ready to go away to Daggenham, right? Down to Hill to watch the game. Yeah. And I was doing the typical dad thing, when you're about 5 minutes to go and you're like, where's my shoes and where's my keys, where's my coat? Anyway, she's decided that we're going to have a swear jar.
Yeah,
right, in the house. So anyway, I'm running around. Where's me effing shoes? Oh, for fuck, where's me keys? Da, 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 da. Anyway, I managed to find everything. I'm just about to go out the door, and she comes running out and goes, "Dad, I've got something for you." And I was like, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And she drew me this wonderful little L, right, lovely little pattern thing. And I was like, "Oh, that's lovely. What's that then?" And she went, "It's for you." I went, "An L?" And she went, "Yeah, for loser. You owed a swear jar 20 quid." And then walked off. I was like, "Oh, lovely. Cheers, darling."
Brilliant.
So, yeah, I'm out of pocket and out of sleep. There we are.
Well, you've had a busy day and also a busy football watching week. So 2 home games to catch up on, really. So I have not managed to attend either of them, unfortunately, but you were at both. So let's start with the first one. 1-1 draw, another 1-1 draw, the third on the bounce.
Yeah,
it's 1-1, 1-1, 1-1. I mean,
all the ones.
I wonder what character that throws up in binary code. But look, it was a good game. It looked like a really tough battle against Daggenham, local rivals, and it looked like they had the better of it actually for the first half from the highlights. They got the early goal, and then Blues got the equaliser at the start of the second half. So how was the game?
Well, yeah, it was all right. I mean, before I start, man, I've got to call out what they were saying, the fans. There was a minority of fans there who were with the racist chanting throughout the first half. And bang out of order. Should never happened. And, mate, I've got lots of Daggenham fans who are clearly embarrassed. It's all on the TV for them to hear. But, yeah, it don't belong in sight, and it definitely don't belong in Roots Hall. But enough said about that, the better. I hope they, all gets dealt with accordingly. Yeah. I hope the league take action because they're abusing the ref. Cav Miley, Noor Hussein, and, no place for it at all. But, let's not give that too much airtime, shall we? And let's get on with the game. But, the first half, I thought Dagenham done well. Yeah. Really well. I mean, they took the game to us. At one point, right, I'm pretty sure they were playing 3-2-5.
Right.
When they were hitting forward, and they absolutely battered us.
Yeah.
I mean, they've got the young lad Pereira on loan from Luton Town.
He looked very good. Only on the highlights that I saw, but he looked really he was involved in everything, wasn't he?
Yeah, everything was going through him. He was so slick. He was bringing in Phipps and Hill and Tavares, everyone. And his play was just outstanding. We couldn't get near him. Yeah. It was so good. And again, like you say, they got the goal, but again, Colin, our man in the goal, mate, he's the best keeper in the division, hands down. I mean, he pulled off a wonderful save and come off him onto the bar as well. It was just great, Colin. And then we get to 1-0 down, isn't it? And you think, right, we're still in the game. And then same old story, Southend come out and just hit them. Got the early equaliser. It shut up them away fans. Yeah,
so it was Cardwell down the right, cuts it back to...
it was a good move, man.
His boy Danny for the tap-in, which is what... he does need them chances, doesn't he? He's a kind of... a bit of a, he's a finisher, isn't he? And but he's not necessarily been getting the chances like that. So that was great to see him on the score sheet.
The way he cards turned his man, and then a great turn of foot in his pace, just burst into the box. Lovely bit of energy there. Yeah, flashed it across, and there he was.
Nice and easy.
bang, bottom corner, let's go.
Nice and easy. And then it looked like, so the first half looked very much to be in Dagenham's favour in terms of chances and, attempts on goal. And then, typical Southend kind of get the equaliser. And then I don't think it was one-sided particularly, was it? But I think Southend had a few good attempts, a few good chances made. Equally, they did as well. So probably quite an exciting end.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it just shows the character of this team. Go in 1-0 down, and then they go, right, they come out fighting, they come out swinging, and brilliant stuff to come away with a draw. I couldn't really see us losing. I can't really remember much of that second half of Dagenham doing much of note, really. And it was just all us. And, we know what we can do. And, I think the draw's fair as a result. And
we hit the bar, didn't we, I think,
yes.
in that second half as well. So could have snuck it.
Could have snatched it.
Snatched it. And then it was, we're back to the... we've got a bit of a break from it now, actually, but we have had the Saturday-Tuesday rotation, which is difficult even with a full squad, But, back to the Hall on Tuesday night. Yesterday, a.k.a. yesterday, as we're recording, against Dorking Wanderers.
Yep.
Posh boys from Surrey.
Yeah.
And... it looked like a decent win. Again, not an easy game, like well battled.
Yeah.
But Scott Morris with a Messi-esque. Wow. I mean, I know he's not left-footed, but what a free kick that was. And then Harry Cardwell, who was provider at the weekend, got back on the score sheet after a bit of a short barren spell, shall we say? And looks like a solid 2-0 result. How was the game?
Brilliant. I liked it. I think there was bits in there you think, Dorking are down there, they're scrapping. They came to play, which was really good. And there was a bit of head tennis going on. And I sort of bumped into Bernie, actually.
Oh, yeah, he was down, wasn't he? Yeah,
and he kind of summed up and said he had that kind of friendly feel to it, didn't it? You know what I mean?
Right.
I was like, yeah, it did. I mean... They came at us, but it reminded me a little bit of the Altrincham game. It was us going, well, Dorking, what have you got? They didn't really do much at all.
Yeah.
And, like you say, we go 1-0 up. What a free kick that was from Gus.
Amazing.
First one in 3 years at the Hall. Fantastic.
Really?
Yeah. Well, according to the stats and what I'm seeing online and what is being reported, first go, but it's what a free kick it was as well.
Yeah.
Lovely. The keeper, right, he was quite small.
Yeah, I thought that watching that on the highlight, it looked like he was scrambling across and maybe a bigger bloke would have saved it.
Possibly.
Colin would have saved
it. He reminded me a little bit of Flahaven in a way, because had it not been for the goalie, we could have been 2 or 3 or 4 well out of sight. I thought the goal, apart from the goal, he didn't have any chance for the free kick, and he was unlucky to parry out the shot from Hussein, which Cards tapped in. I thought he had a fairly decent game because we did have chances in that second half again to go on and extend that lead. But it was. I thought it was a good game. We win. We didn't lose. We made it unbeaten now in 8, which is fantastic. But what was interesting was Kevin's post-match comments about, you could hear people getting frustrated again and the old things were coming out. But, you got to bear in mind what the team have been through. The amount of subs we have had, the young lads that were coming in, right. And
the turnaround, the Saturday, Tuesday. We went last week, didn't we, together, and it was frustrating. It wasn't entertaining on Tuesday night. It's difficult. It's a late game. The crowd maybe not as up for it, and kind of want to be entertained. So expectant.
That's it.
And so, what did Kev say?
Well, he just said, he's going to back them boys 1,000,000%, and so he should. I mean, they keep the ball, they stay calm. You can hear the frustrations. It does, that tension feeds into the players. And I mean, it's not everybody. It's just, you can hear these pockets of groans going on in his comments. But our man Woodman, brilliant. I thought he was fantastic. And he took the ball out well. He's coming through. He's young. He's only 18. Was he 18? 18, 19? Very young lad. And you're getting people screaming to shoot from like 35 yards. I mean, come on.
I do think there is a certain element. There is at every club, but there's a certain element of Southend fans who, I mean, the thing about the way they play is it's a very, tactical. It's like it's been decided that that's how they play, and it's not the sort of thing you can turn off and on. No. You play out from the back, you try and retain the ball, and you try and make good quality chances. And
which Southend do. And everyone loves it when it works. But as soon as you get one wrong pass, that's it, end of the world.
You can't sort of throw the baby out with the bathwater each time something goes wrong. And there are fans at the Roots Hall that sometimes you just think, come on, like in 10 minutes you'll be celebrating a goal, and it's the two things are interlinked, you can't get frustrated at passing 100%. It sideways or back, because that's the game plan, and you stick to it and it does reap rewards. Look where they are. So the table is, 50 points. So 10 were taken off.
Yes, they'd be above 60.
They'd be above Gateshead.
Yep.
Just below Gateshead. So they'd be in 7th. So they'd be in that final playoff spot. Difference being goal difference between them and Gateshead. I mean, considering everything, that's incredible. And, you're only 8 points away from that seventh spot. A few games to go, and,
Absolutely.
a few losses, a bit of dip in form for someone above, and Southend maintaining the form. So unbeaten in 6, which is, I know a lot of them, 8, sorry.
Yeah.
I know a lot of them were draws, but...
Momentum is everything.
Momentum, yeah, exactly. Turn some of them draws into wins in the final few games, and who knows? We're back dreaming, aren't we? We're back dreaming again.
Well, we've got a lot of young players in there as well. There was a great move from Ollie Coker. If he put Sandak through, there we go. We're 3-0, and everyone who was moaning about them all, what were you going to say then?
Yeah,
it's funny because you could hear people moaning about Gus. And a few grumblings going on in the East End. The minute he put the ball in, I just turned around and started grinning at him. I was like, how was that then? How do you like them onions? So it was, but you're going to get them at every football game. Every side has got these, the boo boys. But there shouldn't be any complaints really. And
no.
I like what's his face? Who's the Dorking manager? Mark. Blimey, his surname's just dropped out of my head. He's on the YouTube sensation. With his bunch of amateurs. But what he was saying about Kev, he called him like the manager of the century. And I thought, he's spot on there. And you look at the work Kev and the boys have done without any transfers, without any, Mark White. There you go, Mark White.
There we go, good old Dr. Google.
Dr. Google works well there, well done. But he was very complimentary. He had some nice things to say about Southend. He was very impressed. But, they've done a wonderful job. And, we've got to keep going, keep behind the boys. It was nice. I saw online as well that one of the pundits saying that we could be going on a title charge next season, which could well be the case. I called it ages ago.
I think that's a realistic target. You'd expect if the sale finally, actually fully happens and the consortium are in and investing a bit. I mean, they're not far away, are they?
No, not at all.
From it's not even many signings. It's just bedding in those players and beefing up the bench and the options.
Of course,
it's not quality that's lacking. The quality's there. I think it's the depth and having the cover for when things slightly go wrong. So,
it has got parallels when Tilly took over in 2003 and 4 from Wignall, and came in halfway through the season, got to our first ever cup final. And then we went back-to-back promotions. Yeah. And he had that nucleus of that team and built around it and got that team. And he's got that kind of feel for it for me. Yeah. I think, next season, title charge, back-to-back promotions, League One, inbound. Here we come.
See you at Pride Park, mate. If we're still down in the doldrums.
Mate. No, you'll be in League Two, son.
More likely than, being in the Premier League, I would suggest. Maybe we'll be in the Championship. Anyway, Paul, this is not a mini-pod this week. This is a full-length pod because you have lined up a fantastic interview with your boy, Leon Constantine.
Yes, and what a man he is. And as I was doing my research on him as well, and found out that, I'm not going to give too much away from it, but what a player. He was only with us for a season. And, we would love him to have stayed a little bit longer, but these things happen in football. But I had a really interesting chat with him, and he was very honest. And it was just brilliant. And, can't wait for you all to hear it. So, here we go. Mr. Leon Constantine. Now, only 2 Southend players have scored more than 20 league goals in a single season in the last 32 years. Now, one of them was Freddie Eastwood, and the other one is sitting with me right now, Mr. Leon Constantine. Hello and welcome to Shrimperscast. Leon, how are we doing?
How you doing, mate? Very good, very well. Just finished the gym, so feeling good.
All fired up, ready for this little interview. Fantastic.
Yeah, all good.
Well, thanks for joining us, and let's get stuck into it. I mean, why football? How did football come about for you?
It's just football, something you do in the school playground. I'm from Hoxton, and Tottenham, so that's just what we done as kids. Whether you went to the youth club, whether you was playing like in the estate, whether you met up with your mates, everything all kind of resulted in playing some form of football. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's 60 seconds, one goal in, and things like that. So yeah, that like, the love of football has been there from since I can remember. To be honest with you.
Nice. Well, it got you a move to Millwall. Is that right? Is that where your journey began?
Yeah. So basically, what had happened, I was at clubs as a kid. I was the first one to get scouted out of my Sunday team. So we all got scouted for Arsenal, first and foremost. Then the Arsenal scout, who we thought was an Arsenal scout, never called up any of us. So whether he was a scout or not, but we never heard anything back from him when we gave him our numbers. And then further on down the line, I got scouted by Watford. So I was going into Watford, and then an Arsenal scout came back again and scouted the same players. So I said, I'm sticking with Watford, and they went to Arsenal. And to be fair, they stayed there for years after. But yeah, I stayed at Watford, and then really kind of, was enjoying it. Obviously, it starts to become a bit more of a structure. Getting to training wasn't easy because obviously my mum was working. Them days, you had to get the train there yourself. There was a guy called Carl Dixon, who I like to kind of say a massive thank you to. He worked for Watford but lived in Hackney, so he used to pick up all the local boys and take them to training most days, which is brilliant when you think about it now. But yeah, forward onto like secondary school. Was messing around. Sorry, let me just backtrack. I left my Sunday team of Westwood boys, which kind of departed once we got to a certain age. And then I went and played for a team in Surrey called Morden Vale. And I mean, we won everything. The guy was a multi-millionaire. We had all the Chelsea kits. We had our home pitch. We had a groundsman. Like literally was out of this world for Sunday league, wow. Grassroots. But obviously we played, and it was top league. I mean, I thought Westwood boys, we were good, but these was on another level. Won the Ida White tournament. We conceded no goals until we got to the final and won 6-1. That was the only goal we conceded for the whole tournament, like of all the best teams around the country. So yeah, from that, when I started going to secondary school, one of my pals said to me, one of the coaches was like asking him about me, and he was like, oh yeah, he's my pal. He said, oh well, I remember playing against him and whatnot. So got me in at Palace. I went there and I just sacked it off really. Because you just learn to play football with your mates. So then just messed around and then ended up getting a job at 16. I was in Marks and Spencer's for like 5 years. I was playing pool upstairs with one of my pals, and he was like we were just talking about how long you've been there, and I was like, I've been there for like. He said he'd been there for 4 years, and I said, well, I started a year before you, so I was like 5 years in retail that I really had no enthusiasm about. I said, mate, I'm out of here. 2 weeks, handed in my notice, and my plan was to play, because obviously I was working on a Saturday, and them days, if you're playing semi-pro football and you're going to have a chance of going anywhere, you have to be playing Saturday football, not Sunday. So I found a Saturday team, me and my mates, a team called Edgware Town, and my plan was to play with them until I finished university, and then after that, try and go pro. But that first season, I think I hit 40 goals.
Wow.
And yeah, went straight into Charlton. Charlton took me in and had me in for 6 weeks, really looked after me really well. They said, listen, like, we're in the Premier League now. Like, you've come in and you're embarrassing our defenders that are meant to keep us in the Premier League. Like, but with all of that, we need someone that's going to keep us in the Premier League. You've just come from Ryman 1, and we need an experienced striker. So they didn't take me, but what they did do, they put me into Millwall, because I played against Millwall in a pre-season game with Charlton, and then they liked the look of me, and I went into Millwall, meant to be 2 weeks trial, and then they ended up signing after a week.
Brilliant. Not bad at all.
Yeah. So that's how the kind of journey went.
Nice. But then swiftly into Southend, though, via, was it Brentford?
Yeah, so basically, I was at Millwall with Tim Cahill, Stephen Reid, Sean Dyche, Neil Harris, Paul Eiffel, Rich Sadler, Steve Clapp. I mean, the team was ridiculous. And we got back-to-back promotion. Well, no, tell a lie. We went up to League One and nearly went up to the Prem. Like, it was that we lost in the playoffs to Birmingham. And basically, the manager at the time, Mark McGee, just anyway, if I ever see that guy, like, I just got nothing good to say about him. But basically, what he'd done, first and foremost, he discussed me going on loan to Scotland. No, tell a lie. What he first did to me, he phoned me one day and said, Leyton Orient want you on loan. Now, I always knew I would end up at Leyton Orient because what had happened, my trial game for Millwall was against Leyton Orient. And I scored 2 and played really well. And at the end of that game, there was their chief scout. There was a guy called Lenny Chiswick, I think his name was, like a legend. And he said to me after the game, listen, if they don't take you, we'll have you. So I always knew there was that kind of affiliation. So anyway, long story short, I ended up going on loan there. But the manager called me on a Saturday morning. I'm in my bed. And then he says to me, Leyton Orient have come in for you. How do you feel about going on loan? I was like, well, yeah, I'm going to go down there and play football. Like, great. Because the only thing is, they want you there this afternoon. So it's a good job I lived in Bromley by Bow at that time. So Leyton Orient, I could walk there. Right? So I just turned up with my boots. Like, all the paperwork got sorted out. Turned up and, started my first game and got man of the match. So, did that. And then, came back, went on loan to Scotland. Another thing he discussed with somebody else before telling me, because I went out for something to week with Neil Harris, and Neil's gone to me, how do you feel about going to Scotland? I went, I beg your pardon? He's like, no. Like, so then the manager told me about Scotland. I was like, so you've been talking, about my career. So anyway, went up to Scotland, done really well up there for Partick Thistle. And, he basically said to me, he pulled me in the office one time and said, look, pointing out, because the office used to look out into the training ground, and he said, like, this one's getting released, that one's getting released, told me all of these players getting released. And I'm sitting there like thinking, I don't want to hear this because these are teammates of mine and I know they're getting released and I can't say nothing. Right? So, and he said to me, the reason why I'm telling you this is because you've got a future here. So I was buzzing. So upset to hear about other people, but buzzing that I'm going to be kept. He goes, look, no problem. Listen, at the time I had the PFA representing me because I didn't know nothing about agents. I just knew how to play football. I didn't know about the business side of things. So then, kept on saying to me, we're going to speak to them this week. This week comes, I spoke to Bobby Barnes. He said next week, never came. And then last day of the season, he sent his assistant manager to release me. Do you know what I mean? Wow. But God willing, Ray Harford, who won the Premier League with Blackburn, I think he liked me as a person, as a player, and he put in a word for me at Brentford. So when I got released from Millwall, I went straight into Brentford on trial and then got signed and did a year there. But then again, went to Brentford. The manager said to me, Wally Downs said to me, listen, I've brought you here to be a first team player. So I was like buzzing. Done really, really well. Played against Watford in my last, when you play your last pre-season games, you play them at the stadium. So Watford came to our place and I was playing against Sean Dyche and I'd done really well against him. And I come off to a standing ovation and I was just like, in my head, I was thinking, mate, this is going to be my season. So the manager pulls me one time. He says to me, look, Leon, you've done really, really well. Really happy with you. There's a reserve game coming up at the stadium. It's optional if you want to play. Because I don't want you to feel like you come here to play reserves. Like, I want you in the first team. I was like, cool, no. I said, listen, I'll play. I don't mind. Played in the game, scored one of the best goals I've scored. Like, an absolute worldie I scored in this game. And I remember thinking to myself, this is going to be my time now. And from that day, I played reserves the rest of the season.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I come on sub, 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. I started an away game at Cardiff and one of the supporters said to me, you got voted man of the match. We lost, but for the Brentford players, I got voted the man of the match for Brentford. And I was out of the squad the next game, I think. Do you know what I mean? So, and Gary Thompson, Tomo, he used to say to me, I don't know what you've done to him, but he just does not want to play you in his team. Do you know what I mean? So
brutal.
End up getting released from there. And then, we're just training in the park in Tottenham with one of my friends. And then got the call from Courty and Leke, Dunsi, and they told me to come up and I went up. And that's how I ended up at Southend.
Well, their loss is certainly our gain, massively. Because, what a season. You mentioned earlier, so you were in Millwall with Leon Court and Leke Dunsi, weren't you? So they played a massive part in getting you down. And
it worked for them. Basically it was them. You know what I mean?
Fantastic. So what was it like coming into Southend? Because you played under two managers there when you arrived. I think Steve Wignall was in charge when you came, and then Steve Tilson was in charge when you left. So,
well, do you know what? It's a weird one because, again, I came into Southend, and again, I just come in there. I just wanted to play football, and they had me on this non-contract, right? So basically, all I got paid was a win bonus and appearance, but for some reason that money got paid different to when you get your wages. So all the players were on their obviously contracts, and I was expecting to get paid when they got paid, but I was told those bonuses there, like appearance money, gets paid separate. So I was driving from Tottenham every single day. No petrol money, nothing, no expenses, anything. Do you know what I mean? No digs.
Wow.
Right? So it come to a time where obviously, you get your last pay from Brentford, then, you're not getting paid, are you? So I was driving up and down, and then it got to a stage where I just said to him, I said, I can't do this no more. I can't physically afford to come up here no more. And then So I told that to my agent, and my agent, the conversation he had with Steve Wignall and Stuart Robson at the time. And then, I got into training one day, and he was like, oh, what's this about you're not coming back? I said, no, I never said that. I said, I can't afford to come back here. I've said, I'm on a I've actually, within the first month, I think, of me being here, I was top goal scorer. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
So I was and then, so that turned into a bit of a back and forth. And then I think later on that evening, they put me on a contract.
There we are.
So it was if I never said nothing, it was just how much,
how long would it carried on for?
But, Steve Wignall was just weird, he used to. Drew Broughton was his star boy, and I ain't got nothing against Drew. I never really knew him like that. Do you know what I mean? But we'd have training sessions, and he'd be coming at me the big man's dying for a goal, and I was like, well, what do you want me to give him one of mine? like I've set up. I mean, away at Hull, I put service on the table for Ruju, and he never finished it. It's not my fault. And then it was just always like some kind of like he had a problem with me. I didn't really get it. Yeah, so it was just weird. And then obviously he left, and then what's his name? He used to be a manager there, come in for temporary.
Yeah, so I think Webby came back for a little bit, didn't he, and hold the fort.
Webby come in, and then I was top goal scorer, and I sat on the bench. Sat on the bench, like, because he never knew me. He knew Tez Bramble, he knew... So, that's fair enough, he played the people that he knew, but, you know, I sat on the bench for 10 games. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, including when Steve Tilson took over, and then my first game back was against Luton in the Cup, and I hit one from 25 yards, I think it was. And then I never stopped after that, do you know what I mean? But I always say to myself, if I'd never sat on the bench for those 10 games, you know, what might have been. And then I look at the penalties. I waited for us to miss 9 penalties that season. Everyone missed. Gower missed. Drew missed. One time, Drew took the ball off me. He took the ball off me. And what happened? I had a previous situation where me and this guy argued on the pitch over a penalty and we ended up both missing. So I just said I didn't want to go down that road again, but I was fuming. And I told him after the game, "Should you ever do that again, mate, and you're going to see a different side of me." Do you know what I mean? But he missed that penalty, and then I started to take him, and I scored all of mine. So I look at it now. If I'd have took those 9 penalties that we missed, if I'd not sat down on the bench for 10 games, I think I would have gone past the 25. Well, I hit 25. I would have went maybe beyond the way things were working for me at that time. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you finished the 3rd top goal scorer that season, and it was incredible. I mean, the people who are above you, 1 and 2, if my stats are right, I mean, Steve McLean hit 23, and David Graham 22. Then there's yourself for the league game. So if you were playing for them 10 games, then easily I would have thought. I mean, on that list as well, you've got Liam Lawrence.
You know what? Can you send me those stats?
Yeah, of course. I'll go and send them over.
No, I seriously, I haven't got anything. Like, no one's ever said. Like, someone sent me that paper clipping about being the first player to hit 20 plus.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? I never knew. Like, someone sent it to me, and then, like, I can't remember who sent it, but someone sent it, or I think it was Tez Bramble. Tez Bramble had the paper and he sent it to me, and I was like, bloody hell, that's an achievement, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, massive. I mean, when you look on that list, they've got Liam Lawrence, who went on to play for Stoke in the Premier League. He hit 19, so you smashed him out the park. Gary Taylor-Fletcher, who went on to play in the Premier League with Blackpool, he only hit 17. Lee Trundle only hit 17 as well, the Swansea dude. John Stead, remember him? He only hit 16.
Yeah, John Stead, yeah, went to Huddersfield.
That's it, yeah. I mean, when you look at the teams in that division at the time, I mean, Huddersfield were in there, Hull City, Swansea, all went on to Championship, bigger and better things. And I think even Roberto Martinez, you played against him when we beat them as well. I mean, Dave Nugent, again, when he was where was he? Was he Hull or Swansea? I can't remember now. But there were some good ballers in that division at the time, and you were right at the top of them.
Yeah, no, do you know what? If you can send me those names and go, like, I'd really appreciate that if you can, Paul, because, like, as I said, all that is all history, and it's stuff that I can discuss with my son, or my sons, and my family. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they're nice things. As I said, you don't when you're in it, you're just in it. Like, for me, I played football, went back to Tottenham, like, hung about with my mates, went to training. It weren't that big a deal to me. Do you know what I mean? I was just doing something I enjoyed doing. But now, I'm 46 years old now. So I look back now, I'm like, bloody hell, like, I done all right, you know, like, you did something you enjoy, you kind of, you know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
The percentages of people that make it or have a career in football for one season, let alone 10 plus seasons, like, you know, I'm actually proud of what I managed to achieve. And now working as a football consultant, stroke agent, whatever you want to, I share my knowledge with these kids. And I love it. I absolutely love it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, you should be proud of it as well. You fired us into our first National Cup final. I'm wearing the shirt as we speak, the old Millennium Limited Edition.
That's quality.
I know, and you said before we come on that you lost your one. So what we'll do, we'll get all of the stats together. I'll see what we can find, and we'll do a little Shrimperscast bundle of all the stuff. We'll get you a shirt, and we'll put it all into you. And because you scored some mega important goals. I mean, there's too many for me to go over. I mean, I followed you all that season. The whole team we were doing. That run in the LDV was just incredible. Beating Luton Town 3-0, QPR 4-0. It was just,
mate. They thought that night would always live long in my memory because it was in the tunnel. And obviously, I know Danny Shitu, I know Terrell Forbes, I knew Mark Bircham, I knew all of those guys, a lot of their team, and we were in the tunnel, and they were because I think we was having a bit of a bad time of it in the league at that time, and they were standing and they were flying, weren't they? And they were standing there, and they were like screaming QPR, and trying to intimidate us. And when we went out there, I think I scored the first one in that game.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, you scored the first one, and then that's it.
Yeah.
They just absolutely demolished after that. 4-0, brilliant.
Gower scored an absolute banger. If I remember, I'm sure he curled it in the top corner.
Yeah.
What a player Gower was, by the way.
Oh, he's incredible.
Do you know what I mean? We had such a good team. We had so many good players. Jay Smith was a good player.
Yeah.
The manager now, Kevin Mayer, good player. Mark Bentley, good player. We had some Courty, Lakey, before he got injured. We had some good players.
Yeah, that's it. But it laid the foundation really for the back-to-back promotions the seasons after. I mean, you played with, like say, you just said that with Kevin Benno. Did you know at the time they would go on to be, coaches and the managers that they are today?
Do you know what? At the time, you don't. As I said, we were so young. Do you know what I mean? I don't think any of us were thinking about that side of the game. Everyone's just thinking of where they can get to. You know what I mean? Yeah. And what it is? I look at it and I think, we weren't even playing for the money, and that's why I think I really got upset with Southend because I weren't what they offered me is what I'd signed. I didn't strong arm them. I didn't, I'm scoring goals. I think I should get this. I didn't really know all that side of it. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? And even, I remember we were on our way to Hull. We were on our way, yes. We was on our way, yeah, because it was and I was on the phone to my friend, Izzy, at Rickpen. And he said to me, Gaffer wants you, I think it was Flynn. Is it Brian Flynn at Swansea?
Mm.
And he was like, yeah, you should come here, blah, blah, blah. And then I was only on £500 a week at Southend. And then he was like, you could easily get £1,000 a week, blah, 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 and all this kind of stuff. And I remember saying to him, mate, I ain't going up to Swansea.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It weren't even £1,000 a week. Yeah, I'll come up. And I said, I ain't going up there. I'm here playing football with my mates, and I'm going back to the hood that I know, with my mates. I ain't going up there, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But what they went on to do, Swansea, if I'd have mostly gone there, with the Leon Knights and the Akin Fenwers and all that kind of stuff, things might have gone a bit different, but it is what it is, isn't it?
Yeah, man. It is what it is. But, scoring the goals you did, I was trying to go through them and refresh my own memory, and you scored some absolute bangers in that season. The 2 goals v Carlisle towards the end of the season as we were floating near enough down the bottom and starting to pull away, that was always the equaliser against Scunthorpe. You and McLean were both on the score sheet there and finishing both up the top. We talked about the QPR game. But I think my favourite one, because I went to the game as well, was when you scored the winner 1-0 away at Cambridge. Oh, so good. We all went over off. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
brilliant.
we played well that night, didn't we?
Yeah, really good.
Cold night, weren't it?
Yeah. I mean, if you could think back, I mean, out of all of your games for Southend, you know, what would be up there for your goals for us? I mean, you have scored a few, so I won't put it.
You know what? I think the goal against Carlisle is my favourite goal, and the reason being is because I came off my shape with the ball and started to advance towards goal, and then I put it round the side of the player and run round him. And I remember Drew was wanting to get onto the ball, but he was offside, and I remember screaming to him, "Leave it!" Right? Because I knew what I was doing, and I got onto the ball. Because if he'd have touched it, the flag would have went up. Got onto the ball, and then I slotted it into the corner. And yeah, I think that was one of my favourite goals. The other one I liked was at home. I can't remember who was playing against, but I think we'd literally just scored, and we got the ball back, and while they was announcing it on the tannoy, I think Kevin Mayer's put me in, and I've run through, and I've just volleyed it, and it's gone straight into the top corner, right? And we end up being 2-0 up in the space of like 2 minutes. So it was something silly, but yeah, you know what? There's a lot of goals. I remember I come on sub once on the 89th minute. This is after being I was on the bench, and I can't remember who we were playing, but we was at home, and we was winning like 3-0. And they brought me on, and I was fuming, like absolutely raging, because I was like, this is absolutely taking a piss, coming on the 90th minute. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to chase this. The ball went over, I chased this guy, he slipped over, and as he slipped, I kind of pivoted and curled it into the roof of the net and made it 4-0. And I just remember thinking, I was so happy. I was happy, you know what, I thought, I've scored. No matter what you guys do, like, you can't stop me from shining. Do you know what I mean? But I think my favourite, if I have to go and say my favourite goal, would be my first one at home against Bury. Was it Bury?
Yeah, was it was it Bury or was it
Was it Bury?
Or was it Hull? You scored an 89th minute. Your first goal, I think, at Route 12 got down, is you came on as a sub against Mansfield. Your debut was against Mansfield, sorry. And 89th minute versus Hull. Game. There it is. I knew it was something. It was Hull. 89th minute winner.
Was it? Yeah, I remember the ball came over and I took it on my chest, and then I put it away, and that feeling was it was just amazing. Like, do you know what I mean? It was hot, lovely weather. You know what I mean? Like, and you know, you get the winner.
That's it.
Everyone's happy. You're happy. You know what I mean? Your family's there. Your mates are buzzing. Like, I think that got me. Obviously, that was to get me off the mark. So I think that was mostly my really favourite one. You know.
Well, it was good because we started August. I think it was we won the opening game, then we lost 4 on the spin, and then it was at the end of August, wasn't it? We turned it around. And what a way to score! 89. We all have a late winner, don't we? We all have a late winner.
Mate, seriously, man. Especially when you've got to travel all the way back to Hull. That's like a kidney punch from Ricky Hatton, isn't it?
Absolutely. But I mean, again, like you say, very successful season for yourself with a colossal amount of goals. But the LDV run was something else. I mean, we touched on it earlier, but with the 3-0 win at Luton, 4-0 QPR, the ding dong that we had in the semis with Colchester.
That was tough, mate. That was tough. I swear to God, that was so tough. Like, they were a good side, man.
Yeah.
They were good. They were a very, very, very good side to give us like a good run for our money, man.
100%.
Do you know what I mean?
It was a proper derby semi-final, that, wasn't it? If there ever was one.
Nah, definitely, mate. That was. Do you know what I mean? They're just good like, do you know what I mean? And you know what it is later on, I've been on holiday, I've bumped into like Southend supporters, and they kind of bring up certain things, and you're like, you know what I mean? We've done all right, man. You know, first, as you said, first final in the club's history.
Yeah.
You know, we're a part of that. So, you know, obviously we'd have loved to have won it.
Well, you nearly scored, didn't you? Well, you could have done. I remember
Yeah.
you were through in it, and it was just such a shame, wasn't it? But
I thought I was offside, I think.
I think
I
so,
thought I
yeah.
was offside. And again, you played to the whistle. But I think, that was the biggest stadium any of us had ever played in front of. And I think the only disappointment I'll take from the Millennium was everyone had their own agenda. We never played as a team that day. A team effort got us to where we got to. But when we got there, everyone was trying to do something that will make themselves look good rather than what was better for the team collectively. Because I think we could have given a better account of ourselves. Blackpool were good, don't get me twisted. They were good, like good players. But we were never... That wasn't the team that played against QPR, that played against, the Loot. Like, do you know what I mean? It was no win. That team would have given a better fight. And I think that's my kind of disappointment really with that. Because I think we could have done more, especially with the travel. I mean, I think there was like 60. I can't remember how much it was in.
It was a big crowd. Yeah, good 50,000-60,000, I think.
Do you know what I mean? Like that, unbelievable. We stayed at like the Val Glamorgan Hotel, which I think United stayed there before the for the finals and things like that. So it was just like a great weekend trip, you know what I mean, for everyone. But it's just the performance on the day just would have liked that to be a little bit better,
Yeah, it was a shame losing 2-0, but it was still a great day out for the first cup final. We're definitely going to get you one of these shirts. No problem about that, Leon.
Yeah, I can't wait.
We're going to make it our mission.
I can't wait. Yeah, I can't wait.
But yeah, what a fantastic season, because then after that, I mean, you still went on. You done really well. I mean, you went to Peterborough. I mean, Port Vale. I mean, what time you had at Port Vale, and Leeds United as well. But, although I'm pretty sure you would like to have played a little bit more at Leeds, wouldn't you, as well? But
injuries though. Injuries. Yeah. Do you know what's funny, right? Is I met Dennis Wise. As first time I met someone that they wanted me. Yeah, because I remember saying, like, Brighton wanted me. Yeah, but I was meant to go to Barnsley, and Barnsley was in a relegation dogfight in the Championship. And I was like, I ain't going to Barnsley in January. They're obviously not scoring a lot of goals, which is why they're down the bottom. They're obviously not creating a lot of chances, which is why they're down the bottom. So if I go there for my first stint in the Championship and I don't do well, I'm going to be deemed a failure. And I just felt like my whole career, I've always been at clubs that's been near the bottom. Not necessarily bad teams. I've been a part of some really good teams, but for whatever the reason, we just end up near the bottom. And I just wanted a chance, and I turned down the move to Barnsley. Then Brighton come in for me, offered me really good money, but it was League One, and I was like, I ain't doing League One. And then Leeds come in for me. And I remember speaking to Michael Dewberry, he's a good friend of mine, and he said to me, when Leeds come in for you, you go. And I was like, I don't want to do League One. And when I went down to look at the training pitch and everything like that, I was like, and saw the pictures of the players that play for the club, I was like, how dare you even contemplate going to this club? Like, unbelievable, massive. Like, so I ended up signing for them in Dubai. And I remember it was good money, but I remember saying like, sitting with my ex at the time, and I said to her, this is when the hard work starts. And I was trained pre-season like an animal, like fit as anything. And then broke my leg in Germany, came back, scored on my Ellen Road debut, broke my toe, and then came back again. We were 3-0 down at home to Oldham. The crowd's going crazy. I'm driving Dennis Wise, man. I'm saying, Wisey, I've got 2 goals in me. Stick me on. He sticks me on at half time. I score after 15 seconds and broke my arm. So I was out for 7 months.
Wow.
Or so. Like, it was just literally one bang. I never had injuries up until then, and it was just bang, 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 one after the other. So it killed me. Then Gus Poyet went to Tottenham. Wisey left. Gary McAllister come in, and long story short, but a little incident happened, and after that, me and him just didn't really get on. Do you know what I mean? And that's how my career went. But I went to Leeds. Really, I thought I was going to, after the back of hitting 27 goals for Port Vale, I thought Leeds, much better team, better stadium, better facilities, going to become a better player. I thought, hands down, I'm going to go there and hit 20 goals easily. Do you know what I mean? And it just didn't work out that way.
Man, that is a shame, isn't it? I mean, it's always the way, isn't it? You go most of your career without having an injury, and then all of a sudden you're in 6 or 7 in one season for one club.
Yeah, literally. I'm never the same after that as well, if I'm honest with you. Do you know what I mean? I was never really... It took a lot out of me, that did, to be fair.
But you still managed over 350 appearances. Was that 356, I think, and 91 goals across 19 clubs across a 17-year.
You know what? They keep saying 91. I've got 101.
Oh, what?
I don't know where the stats get that. They've got it so horribly wrong. Do you know what I mean? I've read that, but
well, I'll have to dig out these other goals, and we'll correct that at 101.
Yeah, because I hit 10 at Torquay. I hit 27 at Port Vale in my full season. Hit 12 when I was on loan there. If I hit more than 10,
unless someone you've been chalked off a few due to own goals or anything like that.
Nah, no chance. 25 for Southend, 10 for Hereford, 10 for York. I think 2 for Peter. So, you know what I mean? There's
This could be league goals, not including your cup games. I'll have to source it out, Leon. What I'll do is I'm going to find it out. We'll stick it all in the...
It might be league. That might be right. But in terms of career goals, in the cups and whatnot, which I'm holding on to anything that get you to a century, I'm taking it. You know what I mean?
Well, all day long, you got to, absolutely. Yeah. But it was great. I mean, after the game, it was great to see you down at Roots Hall, and we've got to give a massive shout out, by the way, to our man Andy Leader, who's
he's the man, isn't he?
He's the absolute man. I mean, what a job he's doing at Southend with the ex-pro association Super, and he very kindly put us in touch, didn't he? I mean, what a great thing.
Without him, I don't have no affiliation with Southend at all, because I left there on quite bad terms in regards to supporters and things like that. And, you know what I mean? I've kind of got to give my version of what actually happened. Whether that people believe you or not, but that's the truth, do you know what I mean? But no, Andy's been great. You know what I mean? That's what I mean, to be invited back onto the pitch, to have my son there, my missus and things like that, that was very, very proud moment for me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And Andy's just been absolutely fantastic with pulling all of these the ex-professional players that have played for Southend, and the way they all pulled together as well, because you were there for the James Walker memorial match as well. And
mate, what a player he was as well.
Yeah.
I took him under my wing. I met him at Hereford. He'd come to Hereford. I kind of took him under my wing as a young boy, and I was coming towards the end of mine. And what a good kid, good player. That's why when Andy I was like, you know what, whatever I have to do, I'm gonna get down there. Do you know what I mean? It cost me an arm and a leg that weekend. Do you know what I mean? But it was worth it. And yeah, like I said, the job you guys are doing is unbelievable. You know what I mean? This is why sometimes you see the club with Ron Martin and the way, you're thinking, mate, you've got a base of loyal supporters there. Just give them something to support, man. Flipping hell. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not difficult, And if you can't do it, then give it to somebody else to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, again, Andy Leader and Super were did a great job of getting all the ex-pros together to record little messages for Ron, just saying, come on, time to move on, get moving on. And it was great. Well, he's nearly out the door. Not quite yet, but he's nearly there. He's still little dotting the I's and crossing.
But the embargo and all that's lifted now, right?
Yes, yeah, embargo's lifted. We're signing players for the first time in God knows how many seasons. It's been great, and we're slowly...
what a job Kevin them lot have done down there, by the way.
Unbelievable.
Literally managing a team with their arms, their legs, shoelaces tied behind them. But, do you know what I mean? What a job they've done. I'm so, I just want to see the club back in the league, man. I really do. Like I said, it was a great, regardless of how I left the club, it was a great platform for me. I always felt like I had a good relationship with the supporters. They were great times, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And I enjoyed every one of you. Well, we all did. All of your goals, they were absolute, fantastic time. And well, it'll be great to see you back down the hall. Hopefully, I don't know if we're going to sneak into the playoffs this season, but I'm of the opinion that we land in the foundations for a title charge next season. So when we lift the trophy, Leon, it'd be great to see you down there celebrating with us.
Yeah, listen, mate, you got my number now, so just anything, little things like that. You know what I mean? Every time I'm up in Manchester now, if enough time, you know what I mean, I'd always make the effort.
Now, top man, thank you very much. Well, time is against us, Leon, but thanks very much for joining us today, mate. It's been a pleasure chatting with you all things Southend United. And
it's been brilliant, mate.
We'll catch up with you soon. Cheers, mate.
Another fantastic interview there, Paul. Big thanks to Leon for coming on the show, giving us all that time, being so generous with his time. And thanks to you, Paul, for lining that one up.
Well, I can't take all the credit, you see, because a huge shout out to Andy Leader, the man behind the Southend United Ex-Players Association, Super. And thanks for sorting that one out, Andy, being the agent. He's turning into our agent, isn't he?
Big up, Andy. Big up, mate.
Agent Andy.
He's not taking 15%, though. It's 15% of nothing, ain't very much.
But no, top work, Andy. Thank you very much for sorting that out. And if you haven't gone and looked at what Super are doing at the minute, go online, get them on their socials and see all the good work that they're doing for all of our ex-professional footballers that have represented the mighty Southend United.
Great stuff. Okay, going to take a little break and then we'll be back to preview Hartlepool away.
Hooray!
Now it's time for everyone's favourite part of the Shrimperscast podcast.
Paul's previews.
Paul, difficult game away, potentially.
Yes.
Potential banana skin. 6 games unbeaten going into it for Southend. 8 games, sorry, I keep getting that wrong. 8 games unbeaten. We have a trip up north to Hartlepool. What have you got for us?
Yes, it is a tough away game. They are going to be fresh as daisies. They haven't played since the 2nd.
Ooh.
10 days rest they've had, so they're going to be,
winter break.
Well, certainly is up in Hartlepool, definitely. And it's a 556-mile round trip for our boys.
Woo.
I know, that is a boot, isn't it? But let's have a look at Hartlepool's last 5 in the league. They have won 1, drawn 2, lost 2. They've scored 9, conceding 8. They're on the back of losing the last 2, so they're going to be wanting to make, put that right. Kevin Phillips, the former Premier League striker, is now down there working wonders with them. We're trying to. So I'm pretty sure they're going to come out on their patch and give it a right old game for us. I mean, the home form in the last 5, they've won 3, drawn 0, lost 2, scoring the 9, conceding 7. Their top goal scorer, right, is 3rd highest scorer in the league with 19. And that's Emmanuel.
He looks tasty.
He does, doesn't he? Emmanuel, I don't know if I'm saying this right, but it's Disworthy.
Yeah.
Is that about right? Sounds about right.
Sounds about right.
But they are literally, but they have got, again, they're a team with quality in them. When they were down at the Hall, it's not very often we see players of the opposition get clapped off when they're subbed, and Mancini was one of them. Great player. He's definitely not a National League player. So he's going to definitely be one to watch as well. Very exciting talent there, the Frenchman. But again, like I said, quality all over the pitch. It's going to be a tricky one for us. Again, we've been playing, Saturday, Tuesday. They've got the break. They're at home. They're going to fancy it. So we're going to have to be at our best here to come away with a point. But we'll have to wait and see what happens. I'd love it to be 9 unbeaten. But, it's football, isn't it? And all good things do come to an end at some point. Yeah. Is it going to happen at Hartlepool? I don't know.
I mean, they're in a very similar position table-wise as well, on 47 points. So 2 places below Southend currently.
Yep.
I'd say, playoffs is probably a bit more of a pipe dream for them, given that they're, a few points behind Southend as it stands. So they're probably kind of looking to kind of stay secure rather than do that push. So, who knows? It's going to be a cracking game, as they always are, I'm sure. So if you are attending,
safe travels,
and give us a little shout, send us a little message. All of our socials are well known. We're just Shrimperscast on everything. So send us your comments, your thoughts, any little videos and whatnot. We'd love to see them. And we shall be back next week with another podcast.
Yep.
Big thank you to you, Paul.
A huge thank you to Leon Constantine and Andy Leader.
Yep, of course. And last but by no means least, big thanks to all of you guys out there listening. Don't forget to follow and share the podcast with your Southend supporting friends.
Yes.
That would really help us out. So, big thanks, guys, and we'll see you next week. Up the Blues.
Up the Blues.